Brooklyn Independent Television.
Hello, I'm Randy Piers. Welcome to Sector B, the business of Brooklyn on Brooklyn Independent Television. Summer is over, sad to say, so we thought it would only be right to start off by treating you to one last scoop of ice cream. Sector B's Fred Brown takes you to Prospect Heights, where a husband and wife team are trying to do something new with an old favorite. Since this is TV, you'll have to take Fred's word for it that the taste is pure poetry, or at least it's inspired by poetry.
Ample Hills comes from Walt Whitman's Crossing Brooklyn Ferry, which was part of Leaves of Grass, which he wrote in 1856, when in fact Brooklyn was populated by lots of hills and grass and dairy farms. There were cows in Brooklyn when Whitman walked around Brooklyn, and so I wanted to do something that harkened back to the history of Brooklyn. And also Whitman's poem, Crossing Brooklyn Ferry, is all about connections between people through time. Whitman is looking forward to us walking around Brooklyn 100 years later, 200 years later, and saying to us, I saw the same seagulls you saw, I saw the same sunset you saw, I saw the same East River, the same Hudson River. And so it's really about those connections. And more than ice cream, Ample Hills, I wanted to make a place that was a community spot, a community gathering place where people could pass time, spend time with their families. So it seemed appropriate.
Cotton candy.
Yeah. And bubble gum.
Bubble gum ice cream, yeah. Is it good?
It's really good. You need to try it.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine ice cream that tastes like bubble gum.
Right now I'm putting the finishing touches on one of our custom-built ice cream cakes. This is a banana and cinnamon, brownie, hot fudge with homemade whipped cream on top ice cream cake.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking that Brian was crazy, that I loved him very much, but this was crazy. I mean, I've tasted his ice cream since I've known him, since '98, and he's loved to make ice cream. So I knew that this was a good move for him in terms of doing something he loved to do. I just wasn't sure that, sinking every last penny, begging, borrowing, and stealing was, the way to go.
But you did it.
But we did it.
I had absolutely no business background, and that was really the biggest stumbling block. I figured I could figure out how to make ice cream. That wasn't so complicated. But the day-to-day running of a business and how to do that was overwhelming. Milk that we're adding to the caramel. Yeah, I wanted to make all-natural ice cream. I knew I wanted to do something where people could identify the ingredients and they weren't some weird polysorbate 80 or monodiglycerides. I wanted them to know it was an all-natural ice cream, and so that's what we set out to do. I took this business course, Fast Track New Venture. It's a New York City sponsored entrepreneurship business course. It's like an 8-week class, and you sort of work on a business plan, and you pitch things to other students, and you work through, you drill down, what are your competitive advantages? You start to think like an entrepreneur, how you focus and structure, not just making what you want to make, but making what a customer wants to buy.
Hi. The dark chocolate?
Yeah.
In a cup or a cone.
You have to really care about people that you're serving and really listen to them and understand what their needs are. I know as a customer, because I've never owned a business before, so I can't say from a business owner's perspective, but I can say as a customer, there are certain things that are really important.
You know what place you want?
You're welcome.
In terms of just getting off the ground, I mean, it took a lot. My wife is a New York City high school teacher, and she's now positioning herself away from that, where she's basically managing the shop and overseeing all the staff hiring and the management stuff. So that's kind of critical, because I just can't take on all those steps.
And honestly, I feel this respect for my ancestors that came here. And you know, I know they own pharmacies, and they started their businesses from scratch. I really do feel it, and it's amazing because it's so much work. It's so rewarding because it's your own.
And the number one thing that we hit upon, that was a natural for me, because it was what I wanted to do in the first place, was to make ice cream from scratch on the premises and in full view of the public. Because ultimately, while we will get people from the Upper West Side and Manhattan and people from Staten Island to come because they read about it in Time Out or Newsweek or New York Times, 95% of our audience is coming from within 2 to 3 blocks. My real dream was to sort of create a museum to ice cream, to how ice cream gets made. It's more than just buying a scoop of ice cream. You're getting the story of ice cream and how it gets made.
Now, what did you get?
Hey, batter, batter.
Hey, batter, batter. I got the Elvis impersonator. Yummy.
Become a fan on Facebook, like Brooklyn Independent Television.